and being able to spend time together on what we do currently in Bayer AG, where we are introducing a new operating model, and we call that new operating model, so the way that we work with one another, dynamic shared ownership. Now, Bayer AG, we have a very compelling mission that gets us all up in the morning out of bed. And that is health for all, hunger for none. That's what we are striving for. And we are a combination of three different businesses. We have agriculture, and it's all about growing the yields to feed the population of this earth. We're in pharmaceuticals, where I'm also working. And in pharmaceuticals, it's about treat the untreatable, it's about cure disease, offer hope. And we have consumer health, so non-prescription medications, where we are about to help 1 billion people to live healthier lives. Now, we also have challenges. We have a debt problem, because we acquired a big company, Monsanto, from the US, in the crop science business, and since then we are carrying debt. We have litigation that we are fighting with in the US. We have in the pharma business a certain gap in our pipeline, so we're currently launching fantastic products for benefit of patients, but then there's a few years where there's a gap, and we need to address that. So we have also discovered that and felt like in our organization we may be held back by some of the ways that the traditional management system brings along. And our new chief executive, Bill Anderson, when he joined us 15 months ago, helped us identifying and being a bit more ruthless and a bit more honest to ourselves with regard to the case of urgency that we're in for change. And understanding the case of urgency is one thing, and then building the vision of how could it look differently is the second step. And again, here we are making this progress, and we're looking at, we want to change our company into a place where the decisions are made by the operational teams on the ground, by the cross-functional operational teams that do the work, that have the customer interaction, that do the development work on the products, and not focus on internal processes or stuff that is maybe not that we're doing in the traditional management setup with a lot of hierarchy, processes, risk avoidance. We do things that are not value add to patients and customers. So we will build the future completely, really, entirely around the customers and the delivery for patients. Managers who are currently the decision makers, who are the owners of information, they are the power centers of the company, they become coaches to enable the teams to do the work, but they're not making the decisions for the teams. We will have fast cycles for evolution, for learning quickly, failing quickly, learning and taking it on, rather 90 days, than yearly or several years plans. We'll still have perspectives and vision, of course, for the future and what is the value contribution that we do, but then we need to iterate faster than in the past. We want to, through that, create a speed in a big multinational company. We have 95,000 employees. We want to create the speed of operation like in a startup and yet continue to deliver, complex, to develop products to the world. And the mission of health for all, hunger for none is always at the forefront. And if anything of the activities happens that don't pay into this vision or mission, then we shouldn't be doing it. So how do we get to that vision of the best Bayer that we can think of? There's massive changes that we need, and I want to focus on two areas of these changes. We need the system change, and we need behavior changes. And these go together. You can't separate them out. You can't just do a behavior change thing, then it's a culture project that doesn't lead to anything long term. If you just do the system change, you may still have in the new system also old behavior, so you need to work the two elements. And I'll focus on both of these elements on the next two slides. So first, the system change. And system is a lot. It's processes, it's org structures, it's rules, big rule books, it's a lot, the system piece. I take out here this aspect of the organizational structure. And in a traditional restructure, and we've done plenty of them in Bayer, I've been involved in plenty of them in the past in my leadership roles, varied leadership roles. In the traditional way, you take out certain boxes from this org chart. You may take out a layer occasionally, but often you also build a new layer and whatever. Take out boxes from the old org chart. That's not the kind of restructure we do this time. This time, as I alluded to, we want to have the teams in a ecosystem setup, and we depict them now as circles rather than as boxes reporting somewhere, but they are autonomous, self-organized teams with their mission and their task and the decision authority. And the hierarchy isn't making the decisions anymore. Leadership changes completely their role. We are reducing leadership massively, or management roles we are reducing massively, I should rather say, and we change the content of what they do. So it means a lot of change on the level of everybody in the teams, and it means a lot of change on everybody in management and leadership roles. Now the change is towards the new behaviors. And here we go for the behaviors that we are focusing on. The first one is, what do we focus on? It is the delivery of value to our customers, and in pharma, to our patients. And only on that, and everything else shall fall by the wayside. How we organize as teams and as networks of teams. So sometimes you have teams that work on brands in the market, but you also have topics that go across these brands, and you can introduce again a governance committee, but we don't want to do that. We want to have the network of teams to make the decisions. So not building hierarchy again. So really changing fundamentally, because these decisions were always played up into the hierarchy. And hierarchy doesn't exist anymore, idealistically, at least in the future. How do we create value? Because we come together with a creative mindset in these teams. We are, let me quickly move on, otherwise I lose too much time. And then we do these 90 days evolutions. We do away with yearly budgets. We do away with budgets altogether. We work beyond budgeting systems in future. We do away with 10-year strategic plans that were developed bottom-up, so we really take out a lot of the slack of the past. And then how do we show up? We come as our best selves to work, as whole human beings, with all these elements and aspects. And it's so important that in a cross-functional team that comes together to drive decisions, make decisions, everybody chimes in, have their say, all thoughts are coming out and not being held back because maybe a boss doesn't like this thought, and then you're suboptimal in your performance. High-performing teams are teams that trust each other and where everybody speaks out. So along with this, and fundamental for these changes is also this, and it's in the 2 lines below these 5 behaviors here, building on a mindset that moves from being reactive to being creative. Reactive mindsets are created by traditional management system regularly because we have the rule books, we have the budgets, we have bosses' expectations, and you react to it. And we push this aside and we say, so what's the value creation opportunity? And here we go for it. And how do we come together to create that and deliver? So the change of mindset is fundamental in this. And then also this change of the leadership. There's a lot of leadership needed, of course, to make this all work, but it's the leadership that makes it work, and not the leadership that makes the decisions. And it's a fundamental change and a huge journey towards that change. So what will we achieve by that? Clearly, world-leading innovation for our patients, our customers. Clearly fulfilled people. I've spent yesterday the day with our Portuguese team in pharma, and they are on a good track on that. And yes, I saw lots of shiny eyes and faces, very positive about the dynamic, the speed that we are working with, the fun it is to come together and work, much less of the old behaviors and frustrations that we have seen. So it works, it's more than promising, and then for investors, it will also be superior financial performance that results out of this. We are in progress of introducing this. We have started this a year ago with having front-runner teams that we gave the space to act in the new ways, even though their environment was still the old ways. And it's been inspirational what they have been able to achieve. It has clear impact on some of our launches. We bring new products to market, both in consumer health as much as in pharma. We have seen that. We have seen customers on the crop science side also say, well, the interaction with you is very different. I get much more out of it, and it's tremendously helpful. We have introduced new organizational structures, or we are introducing, as we speak, new organizational structures across the 3 businesses. And we are activating teams to get into this mode of the new way of interaction. It's a process that starts by the end of the year everywhere in the company, but it's also a process that will take a couple of years. And it's not a project where we say, we have a starting point here, and there's a Gantt chart, and end of next year it's all done, and tick mark, and then we go on. That's not this thing. This will continue, this will be dynamic over time, dynamic shared ownership, and it will be a fantastic journey of how we build the best Bayer together for the benefit of our customers and patients. Thank you very much.